My name's Owen, I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants campaign.
Hello everyone, my name's Jared. I'm playing the character of Threign, Path of the Giant Barbarian, and he is seeking to learn about his heritage of the Frost Giants.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Druid.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm playing Niles Silverwind, the monk Owlin.
Hi guys, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. He wants to be a master of wildfire, but does he have the skills to be best one?
Hi, I'm Dave. My character is Harry Harrington the Harengon, a roguish merchant with a heart of gold.
Hello!
Hello everyone.
Hello! Oh my goodness, welcome back to the Lost Archives, everybody. My name's Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants campaign, which we are very excited to be jumping back into tonight, our premiere homebrew 5th edition adventure. Before we jump into the recap and jump into the campaign, few super quick announcements. It is less than a week, in fact significantly less than a week if you're listening to this recorded. In fact, if you're listening to this recorded in 3 hours, whoa, the Talk Like a Pirate Day session is starting over at twitch.tv/Corsairs Cove. For the International Talk Like a Pirate Day, Josh the Pirate at Corsairs Cove is hosting a 24-hour live stream event running from Sunday the 17th through to Monday the 18th of September. It's going to be 24, I think it's actually 28 hours. I've been saying 24, but I think it's actually an extra 4 hours on top of that. 4 bonus hours. 28 hours of non-stop pirate-themed RPG fun. I'm going to be hosting a D&D 5th edition campaign that I have almost finished writing. That is pirate themed. I've just finished the second battle map this morning, and the background music I've also finished composing as well. It's going to be a really fun 5th edition pirate adventure set in Nostea, the same homebrew world that we're playing for all of our other D&D adventures as well. That'll be running on Monday the 18th from 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time through till about 11:30, 12 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure if you can come and join us live, you absolutely do. It's going to be sweet. That's over at twitch.tv/Corsairs Cove. If you can't join us live, don't panic. Josh is going to record it, and we're going to have a copy that we can put up anytime you want. So it will be available for anyone to... Anytime. Now, I also am going to be joined by one of the lovely players who's in front of me right now. Dave,
What?
You're gonna be playing in that campaign with me.
I am keen. I'm trying Eloquence Bard. Eloquence, I never even done that.
College of Eloquence. Yeah. Now let me guess. You're going to be playing a goblin.
Oh, yeah, a very gold obsessed goblin.
He loves his goblins.
I love my
God.
goblins. Yeah.
Are you actually playing a loot goblin, Dave?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm playing a little goblin named Barry, who's my favorite character of all time that I've ever played, and in the campaign he only got to level 5, so this will be fun. Level 6. So
it's going to be a lot of fun, the one shot. I'm very excited to have a friendly face.
I enjoy my characters that bonus action hide. So
yeah, clearly he enjoys the bonus action hide characters. Be a real shame if all of the Sahaugen that I'm about to throw at you had true sight somehow. That'd be awful. That'd be a real problem.
Damn.
That's right. He'll just make fun of them with vicious mockery. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be no consequences for that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you come and check it out when we go live. If you can't make that time, there's a whole glut of incredible campaigns that are going to be running back-to-back from the 17th to the 18th, so if you do get a chance to maybe chuck in a headphone while at work, you can listen to some very good quality RPG recordings over at Corsairs Cove. Going to be a lot of semi-professional like us and professional D&D players and streamers joining in to help out, as well as some people from the community. I think one of our players is jumping into one of the other sessions. Not one of the players, sorry, one of our viewers is jumping into the other session. They messaged me to ask if there was a spot, and I think we've been able to find them one. So yeah, make sure you come and check it out. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. That's kind of it from me for announcements. That's like the big one coming up. I'll talk more about the opportunity to come and actually see me do D&D live if you live in Brisbane, Australia, in October. That is coming very, very quickly, and I'm starting to get a bit nervous about that. Not just because I'm going to be in costume for it as a tiefling, but also because it's my first time doing like a live on the stage in person D&D game. So that'll be interesting. I'll keep you guys posted. We'll have more news about that soon. But yeah, looking forward to that. Any other news? I think that's kind of the big ticket items, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet as.
Covered it all.
That's I mean, I'm enjoying Starfield a lot. I did have someone messaged on the Discord to ask, has my opinion of Starfield changed after a few more hours? I'm going to be honest, I haven't had much more time to play over this week on account of having a full-time job, but I've played a little bit, and doing this stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights makes it very hard to sort of like squeeze in. But the little bit more I have done, I am thoroughly enjoying. If anything, I'm enjoying it more the more I play. So I'm pretty happy. Like, I've not been bothered by any major bugs. I did get shot up through into the skybox by walking over a bucket that collided with another bucket, but that's pretty standard Bethesda physics. And I mean, actually, there was one more thing that happened recently. A ship landed near me with some House of Arun cultists. I gunned them down, tried to take control of the ship. The hatch closed, and the ship took off with me in it. I couldn't get into the ship, and so once the ship started moving fast enough, I got clipped through the back of the ship and just dropped from orbit back down towards the ground.
Oh no.
It was fine. I just literally at the last minute did the boost pack, and I just immediately, all velocity ceased. I just went whoop, and then landed just very casually on the ground. It was fantastic, because I would have easily reached terminal velocity a few times over, and then I just hit the space bar before I got close, and I immediately came to a dead stop, bounced up slightly, and then just landed with no fall damage. So
Just like
I mean, full credit to that spacesuit, man. Like, that did the work as you re-entered orbit. Like, dang.
I wasn't actually wearing one. I was just wearing a casual suit I picked up in a city called Neon, just for fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know why. I like rocking the clothes. So yeah, I've been enjoying stuff. It's been great, and the occasional Bethesda feature, we don't call them bugs, they're features, has amused me more than anything else. There's been nothing game breaking. It's just been the occasional laugh.
I feel like that's like part of the charm when you buy a Bethesda game. It's just all the bugs. It's just
one of my favorite ones that someone sent me on TikTok was this character who clearly is one of the antagonists, a person called the Hunter. Now, I don't know anything about this yet because I've not encountered this person, but clearly, and no spoilers in this, but as the player walks up to him, he goes, "I'll see you later," and then phases backwards through a wall, clipping through it and disappearing. It's like, so good.
Oh, that's so good.
And part of me's like, was it a bug? I don't know anything about this character.
Maybe it was intentional, man.
Maybe it's intentional. Like, I'll be looking forward to seeing that. That'll be great. But yeah, it was just the way it's just like, "I'll see you later," and then just disappears backwards through a wall.
Wow. That's
like the Homer Hedge kind of meme. Yeah.
Yes, it was exactly that. Yeah. Maybe I'll take a copy of it and use it as my future Homer Hedge meme. It's quite good. I could GIF that easily. Or GIF it, depending on your preference. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do our recap so that we can jump into the session, because we had quite a bit go down last session, so it's probably good if we do a really solid recap. Obviously, Dave wasn't with us last week. Dave, did you watch the episode? Are you up to date, or do you want me to...
I always watch. I'm there.
Oh, thanks, mate. And you can be as cool as Dave, too. If you miss an episode live, don't worry. You can watch all past episodes on YouTube and on a podcast.
And if you really can't wait for it to be on YouTube, you can always watch it on Twitch as well.
That's very true. That's very, very true. For the first 15 episodes of Return of the Giants, I have edited them down same as they are on YouTube and kept permanent copies up on Twitch. I think the first 15 is probably enough to get started, and then for the rest of them, head over to YouTube. Just because the Twitch, the way it kind of records and stores videos is a bit weird, so it's probably safer if I keep everything stayed with YouTube. All right, let me do a quick recap. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, and Threign have been investigating the emergence of some ancient giant technology in the settlement of Laspire. After shutting down the device, which was controlling and creating clockwork drones to disassemble the town, the team tracked the activation back to the nearby Hill Giant fort. After meeting with Chief Gunglot, the leader of this clan of Hill Giants, the party learned the activation of this giant tech had actually been accidental, the Hill Giants proving quite distrustful of the technological creations of the Cloud and Storm Giants. With this miscommunication dealt with, the team was surprised to hear the Hill Giant clans, once united under one leader, had fractured following the death of the previous chief. Now 3 main groups exist. Chief Gunglot was keen to reunite the clans under one banner, ideally her own, and tasked the team with helping her break a centuries-old curse placed upon a dragon turtle, Mauler. Knowing that the conflict between the clans was almost unavoidable, Gunglot hoped to right the wrong committed by her father in basically binding Mauler to the nearby swampland using a nithing, a type of necrotic curse. The party were flown to the afflicted land by the Skald Bravi, No hill giant able to approach the land due to the nature of the curse. After entering the swampland, Lyra and Ember, our two druids, quickly discovered the curse seemed to extend not just to Mauler, but to the surrounding landscape as well, a dark necrotic energy causing a large swathe of the land to be blighted. After reaching the centre of this blight, the team decided to use Threign's shout, amplified by thaumaturgy, to summon Mauler. What the team had mistaken for a small island half buried in the bog revealed itself to be an enormous dragon turtle. Mauler revealed that the Nithing took the form of a vast undead monstrosity hidden in the dark swampland and an entity that would soon attack if the party stayed within its borders. This warning and the threat of death didn't dissuade the party. Standing firm, the group did not flee as a huge, hulking, rotten form pulled itself free of the bog. The fight proved exceptionally difficult. The Barrowghast, for that is the form the Nithing had taken, was able to call forth monsters made of mud and fetid soil to assist in its attacks on the party. However, the party were successful in banishing and destroying the Barrowghast and freeing Mauler and the surrounding lands from the Nithing, the waters clearing and plant life growing rapidly to replace the sludge and decay. Now free again, Mauler promised to assist the hill giants if Gunglot came to speak with her directly. So while the rest of the party travelled back to the hill giant fort to summon Gunglot, Ember decided to stay behind and use his magic to help restore the land. And that is where we left off last session. The party now reunited back in what was once this blighted swamp that has now been replaced with this vibrant, teeming oasis within the centre of this larger, almost like a coastal mangrove archipelago area. Over the last 8 hours, while Ember has been casting the ritual version of plant growth, the soil has become fecund once again. Grasses and trees have sprouted seemingly overnight. The area now filled with the buzzing of insects, dragonflies, electric blue and green darting across the surface of the water, the shadow of fish and other amphibians moving throughout, occasional frogs, you hear the croaking of them during the night. What was once blighted land is now vibrant and green once again. All of you had a long rest on the small island near where Mauler had been buried, and while Gunglot and a number of other hill giants spent some time communicating with her and talking to her in the giant language, you all took a bit of a rest, Ember particularly being pretty tuckered out after spending 8 full hours casting a spell. But all of you awaken the next morning having recovered fully from your wounds from the previous day, having recovered your energy, and benefiting from a long rest. I think, as I said previously, the hill giants... What was it, sorry?
No level up?
You just had a level up.
I always have no level up. I don't know how much EXP this guy was worth.
Now, Dave, you know that every time someone asks for a level up, there's a consequence that happens to the person who asks for it, correct? You remember that, right?
The person or the character?
Oh, both. 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 So just keep in mind that you've done that now, so it's too late for you, but the others can learn from your example. Yeah, everyone just pay attention to Dave and what happens to him. And
Thank you,
I
Dave,
guess
for your
Harry.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of you may die, but it is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Nice.
Yes. If we had the first level up,
I
yes,
love
but what
that.
about the second level up? There is no second level up. I don't think you know about the second level up. The hill giants who came with Gunglot to basically secure the area, and also, I'll be honest, like as you see Gunglot and her soldiers arrive, the rest of her Drengir, the warriors of the hill giant clan, there's a cautiousness around Mauler. The giants never take their eye off her. The Drengir who are with you and with her, with Gunglot, never fully stop watching her at all times. Every time she makes any movements, sort of a little bit sudden or fast, hands go to spears or weapons or clubs pretty quickly. There's an air of caution around Mauler. A reputation that probably to you would all be a bit of a surprise. So far, your interactions with Mauler have been fairly civil, apart from being a bit depressed, she's not sort of presented herself as much of a threat to you guys, at least. After
we do
a
know
while,
that she took out 2 armies.
she did. Yeah, you have heard about that. In her youth, though. In her youth. While Morla and Gunglot speak, a number of the Drengir set up a camp, and they are more than happy to share ale and food with you. They have brought supplies.
Say no more.
Oh,
Exactly,
yeah.
I thought so. Say less. They've brought ale and supplies, as well as a very heady mead, a very spiced methlaglen. Notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and a sweetness to it as well, masking what is clearly an exceptionally alcoholic drink. This clearly has been fermenting for a long time. I guess my question is, all of you I assume are eating and drinking. Is anyone particularly enjoying the mead? Or I should say the spiced methyl.
Everything.
Right. Threign, brilliant. Ember.
Always.
You know what? I think Niles would be wanting to partake. You know.
I would 100%. Threign be 100% like not peer pressuring per se, but getting everyone involved.
Niles is.
So I would be pushing food in your hand. I'll be pushing beer.
I'm not peer pressuring, but I am pressuring you by being one of your peers and encouraging others around you.
I'm
to pressure
involving
as
them
well.
all. I'm like, Threign just wants to have fun and get everyone involved and have fun.
I'm not peer pressure, but
he's
I
that
am
type
now
of guy.
going to absolutely define peer pressure as a concept and explain it to
What do you mean?
as if you're
He's just
5.
involving everyone.
Niles
David.
We
is
want you to
like
have
the-
fun, guys.
Yeah. Perfect. What I'll get from everyone then is I'd like everyone to roll me, everyone who's enjoying themselves and partaking, I just want a single constitution saving throw.
Harry's not drinking at all. He's actually pretending he is.
That's a natural 1 from Niles for his
Oh,
con save.
you should do a stealth check then to see how
Harry
well
did a
you're
sleight of
doing.
hand.
I
Naturally,
did that.
it's a 22.
Way nice.
Ember, that's an 8. Fantastic. These
Yep.
rolls are perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see tonight.
Lyra would be nursing a glass, but not going ham.
Man, I rolled a 3, but I still got 9, which is ironically the highest still.
Lyra's
Except for
17.
Lyra.
Okay.
Oh,
So we'll start with Harry. Harry, sleight of hand. I guess you're like occasionally tipping out your drink when no one can see, so it looks like you're
Yeah.
drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also like watching and he just taking in as much as he can, information wise.
So problem
Oh, okay.
number 1 for those of you who are drinking. The giants brought most of their own drinking horns and some other flagons, which are designed for hill giants. So it's each flagon that is passed to you is roughly about 6 liters. Even if you sort of go, you don't need to fill that up fully, thanks. The giants, the Drengir, these warriors, are very keen to celebrate. Oh, nonsense! You have done a great service to us. Please drink and be merry. And really, they're kind of unwilling to take no for an answer in a very light-hearted, dubious way. The mead is strong and heady. The first sip hits the back of your throat with these spices, this cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. But the sweetness immediately almost moves across it, masking that initial hit of spice. And only afterwards, as you breathe in, do you suddenly feel the alcohol content starting to kick in, hidden away underneath that glorious honey sweet flavor. Niles, 2 sips, and you are really starting to reel. The giants see you sort of like stumbling about a bit, your feathers occasionally fluffing up, your head going, ooh, ooh, as you like look around with your big owl eyes,
yeah.
pointing and laughing and trying to get you to sing along with them. Does the little birdie sing songs? We know many songs, warriors' songs. Come,
Of course he
bravi!
does. Of course he knows songs. Come on, sing with us.
Niles tries his best. And I think Niles at
You
this
don't have
point
to.
is like, I think Niles, he's so enamored with the adventuring lifestyle that he's just wanting to live this up as like best he can.
Man.
This is like his first like proper like successful.
Yeah.
I guess aside from like obviously saving the city, this is another successful. He hasn't really had the time to really like
This
get
is
that
your
out of his
first
system,
warrior's feast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love speaking as the player's subconscious sometimes. Yeah, so Niles, this is your first warrior's feast. You're an adventurer now. A true adventurer.
happened.
All you have to do is face off against a dragon and delve into an actual underground dungeon. And you're there.
Reading about this.
The giants begin breaking into songs. Surprisingly, even though the words are unfamiliar, occasionally the melodies snatches of them sound familiar to drinking songs that you yourselves might have heard in the taverns across Oceania, the taverns through Oxenfurt and Palin. Even though the giants have been missing from this world for over 1,000 years, some aspects of their culture seemingly had lasted through the centuries, passed down in taverns and drinking places as a sign of merriment and joy. And I'll get a performance check from you, Niles, as you join in the singing in your drunken state. We'll jump over to Ember and Threign, who are the next highest with their 8 and 9.
I would like to say for Threign, I think the 9 would him 100% be overdoing it, trying to match the giants who are larger than him still, even with his like little giant stature and all that. So that's what I would. Yeah. I had
a question for Owen, the DM. So I'm just interested to see what your thoughts are on this. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, because like my performance is pretty low. It's a +0 as Niles, but Niles' giant counterpart is like a bard, right? Like he's a skald. So
that's true.
I'm wondering if there's any semblance of that could be like peeking through in this enamored state potentially.
That's a really good question. Can I get you to roll me a D100, Niles?
Yes, please.
So for those of you who might be new and joining us, one of the homebrew things we've added in is each of the characters, during the course of the early stages of the adventure, had a piece of giant technology embedded into the backs of their hands, which allows them to connect with a giant from the past, an echo of this giant's memories. 23. Niles, I mean, the connection, you can kind of feel the connection there, but you're having trouble focusing. Your head's swimming under the effects of this heady mead. It's very hard to focus. I will get a flat performance check.
That's not a problem. That's a 10.
10's not bad.
Like
considering you're a natural 1 level of drunk. 10's pretty good.
He thinks he's doing awesome.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Niles won't, let's be honest, Niles is blacked out at this point. Like, the body's moving, the brain's gone home. The brain's in bed right now. The memory is not recording this. Niles, as you begin to sing along and whistle, I mean, owls don't have a songbird's performing style. Like, it's not a natural noise, the songbirds whistle and songbirds tune for owls. But you yourself have, at times, when you've been traveling between locations as part of your work with your family, to pass the time, occasionally you and your family or you and your cousins as you flew between different places would sing songs to one another. And coincidentally, one of the giant songs, the melody is very similar to one of the songs that the Aarakocra have sung many, many times to one another. And so as they launch into this rowdy drinking song, again, even though the lyrics are unfamiliar, you find yourself joining in, singing along, able to keep a tune pretty acceptably. I mean, occasionally, because there's a bit of a difference between the songs, occasionally they'll go off on a counter melody and you'll sort of like pause for a second as you go, and then remember the next bit and jump back in again. But very passable job.
Nice.
Threign and Ember. The mead is delicious. Both of you being giant kin. Ember, oh my god, I just blanked on your race name. Firbolg. There we go. Took me a hot second there. That's embarrassing. Ember, a Firbolg. Threign, a Goliath, a frost giant Goliath. I mean, you yourselves have had Methlaglen before. Both of your peoples brew this mead. The Druids especially create an incredibly delicious spiced mead in their glades and enclaves. But not as strong as this. Neither of you were prepared for how strong this is. Probably more Ember. For Threign, it's you trying to keep up with the hill giants, despite being like a fifth of their size.
And I mean, like, it explains my +6. Like, you know, I should... If I was regulating myself, I'd be doing fine. But no, that's not Threign.
No. Before too long, both of you, find yourself swaying from side to side, hill giant arm on your back, moving with you as they launch into a slightly sadder song. Both of you singing along, joining in, sloshing mead over yourselves and the people next to you, which in this case is Lyra and Harry, both of whom looked after themselves and didn't drink too much. Lyra, the first sip of this tells you need to pace yourself, and you very, very quickly do. There is no point trying to finish this flagon that you've been handed. It's like 6 litres. You're not going to finish it. So you enjoy yourself and savour the flavours. Not too dissimilar from some of the Fey wines that you had enjoyed during your time in the Fey Wilds. Again, that's sort of similar spiced sweetness. Not the same thing at all. The mead is a honey-based rather than a fruit-based, but yeah, still that same sweetness there as well. Mead is far less complex than the fruity wine flavors you'd enjoy during your time in the Feywilds, but still, you probably get a feeling of nostalgia and a feeling of connection back to your time in the Feywilds, even though parts of it may not have been the most pleasant. The times of calm, enjoying a nice, delicious wine, probably were those periods of respite between the unseelie court causing you grief. Harry manages to escape completely unharmed. It's at this point that most of your memories start to fade, and as you wake up,
ask a quick question. If
yeah. Go.
Are any of the hill giants participating in any acts of, any contests or anything like that? Any arm wrestling or anything?
No, doesn't seem like there's any contests at all. In fact, you notice, Threign, that even though you're drinking quite heavily, most of these Drengir are not drinking as heavily as they were even back at the Hill Giant Fort. There's still a sense of unease, occasionally shooting glances. As one of them, I'd say probably one of the other warriors that you've seen a few times now, the one who offered you that cut of meat back in the hall. You watch as he goes to refill his flagon, pauses, looks over at Gunglot and Mola, and then puts his flagon down for an hour or two before refilling it. There's still a sense of unease about this enormous dragon turtle, which eclipses even the hill giants in size. You get the sense they're not reveling too much. They're keeping themselves alert and ready in case something happens.
One day I'll have a arm wrestling contest with a giant.
I think
one day.
Lyra might sort of pipe up a bit, sort of seeing the unease and stuff, and just sort of, being fairly relaxed after, having a bit of that mead. She might sort of even pipe up and be like, she was telling us the story about what happened. You guys really don't have to be so on edge. If she wanted to off us all, she would have already. We all know that she's capable.
Can you make me I guess that would be a persuasion check. I just want to see how this lands. Natural one. The whole camp goes dead. It's not a natural one, is it? I can't. It is a natural one.
It is a natural one. No, I can't believe you wish that into existence.
I can't help but feel like I might have manifested that.
I think you did.
If only I believed in manifestations, then I'd feel guilty. But as it is, I don't believe in that shit. So it's just
you could
fuck you.
have yelled nat 20.
Wouldn't have made a difference. Welcome to entropy, babies.
Dear.
Natural one. The camp goes silent. Perhaps the elf is right. Maybe it is time to pack up and maybe put away the wine and the meat for tonight. Perhaps an early night. We will take turns with watch. Who would like to take first watch? As they begin to look around, they pick off who's doing watch.
I feel like Threign would just be too. I think he'd be too inebriated at the moment to offer any contest to this.
Niles doesn't know what planet he's on.
Yeah, I think Niles and Threign are sort of next to each other, face down on the table.
Yeah.
Threign's still got his beer in his hand, trying to he's still got some semblance, trying to get it to his mouth.
I love your new title, Lyra, Slayer of Fun. Oh, that's fun. That's probably a good time to bring up the new channel point reward that is now active on Twitch, because this probably could have been one of the achievements. All of your favorite Steam games, PlayStation games, and Xbox games have achievements in them. Things that you get that get you a little sense of satisfaction. And I thought, why not incorporate an achievement system into D&D? If you are watching us live on Twitch, you earn channel points. You can spend them on a whole bunch of things. Advantage, disadvantage, summoning monsters. There's now a new option. You can create an achievement for the party to get. And when they do, they'll all gain an inspiration for doing it. I've already created 10 achievements for each campaign that we run that are ready to go right now. If you wanted to, you could create an achievement. There's a little box that you type things in. I would love to see what you guys can come up with. Should be lots and lots of fun. I feel like Party Pooper would have been the name of that achievement. That's fantastic.
Somehow stop a giant feast.
Yeah,
That's
stop
impressive
a
feat.
celebration dead in its tracks. It's outstanding.
To lighten the mood, can I yell out?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be fearing the dragon turtle. We should be fearing the dragon Firbolg.
The dragon
And-
Firbolg. Yeah.
And I'm going to, because I'm drunk and trying to show off, I'm going to try and spit out some of the meat and light it on fire with the
Oh, that's cool.
No, that's going to be done with disadvantage for
10
sure.
million %. What would that be? I'm going to
no.
say you have a
Is it
choice. You
performance?
have a choice of skills here. Yeah, you have a
Man.
choice of skills here.
This
This could actually bring back the fun, though.
Or it could
Yeah,
set
Or it could
Ember
make it
on
way
fire.
worse.
Yeah, no, yep.
I mean,
Um,
I'm
Dead to the world right now
That is
too. So
fitting. Yeah,
So-
we're out of it.
Ember, you have a choice. You can roll either a performance check with disadvantage because you are drunk, or I'm going to say that you can roll. I think I would also allow an acrobatics check here as well. Again, also with disadvantage
Let's
because
do
you're drunk.
acrobatics. He's got a +2 for that. So
Yep.
let's.
Natural one. Can I will another one into existence? Let me just create another natural one. That's a 9. Ember,
okay. Oh, yeah.
you
Oh.
click your fingers to create a small flame. Shout out that piece about you should fear the dragon Firbolg, and then spray mead forwards. In your mind, this was a perfect plan. There would be a gout of flame, like 10, 20 feet long, that would shoot out of your mouth and delight and astound those around you. Mead's not flammable.
I know.
So what happens is, as you click your fingers to create a small flame and then go, you just sort of spit all of the mead that was in your mouth just past your hand, immediately extinguishing the small flame on your thumb and spraying, I'm going to say, let's say Threign, who's standing not too far away. Threign just gets a light sprinkling of mead and backwash. over his
I
face.
feel like I would sort of lift my head up from my stupor on because it's currently on the table with Niles.
Yeah.
Feels like it's
I do
raining.
love a sea breeze. Oh, that feels nice in my face. And I look around and I don't see any ocean or coast around me at all. Funny, maybe it's raining. I look up, there's no rain.
Ember,
I turn back
unfortunately,
around to see Ember.
you also breathed in a bit to get like a good, to get the good spray, which also meant you kind of choked on a bit. And so as Threign looks up, a little, like almost like half a mouthful of meat just goes out of your mouth onto your clothes as you cough up the remaining bit of the mead.
I feel like that still works. I mean, are the people going to laugh or are they going to be amazed?
What are you doing with the meat? Don't waste it. Why are you spitting it out?
See what I have
I
to
got to
do with
offer you
everyone.
the other liter that I probably have left out of my 4 liters or whatever they call
Yeah, yeah. It's a Costco size.
Why are you lit? Don't waste it. And I sort of throw myself back on the table
What?
One of the
in a
Drengir,
drunken stupor.
one of the Drengir Ember, a woman with half her head shaved back, the other half plaited into this very long Viking braid. You can see that the side of her head's been tattooed with these almost what look like lines to resemble like a stylized claw mark across the side of her head that sort of finishes just at her eyes. She looks down, pats you on the back very gently. I think it might be time for bed, little one, okay? Going to get you a little blanket. We'll tuck the little one in beds. There's a bit of a murmur of chuckles around the fire. She goes, shh, you'll
Who
wake
said
the
that?
babies. As she
They took it
points at
up?
Threign and Ember.
I am not a baby, please don't. And then I rage and I grow in size, doubling my size.
Oh, shit.
Oh, now you've done it!
I am not a baby. Why do you call me baby for, huh? Arm wrestle me now, please.
She looks over towards clearly one of the captains. Actually, I'm saying she probably looks at Bravi.
Now what
Yeah, go.
I was just gonna say, I feel like because I've drunk a lot, even that 9 probably doesn't really make up for how much she's probably drunk by this point. I probably would stand up, sort of swaying. Now I'm like double the size. I'd put my hand out for like an arm wrestle. I sort of look around, and then I'll sort of go forward, trip, and then I'll sort of start stumbling and fall on my back, and you just hear this resounding thud as the ground shakes a little bit because I'm now a large creature.
Yeah.
I want to add to that, right? Because you unrage if you don't attack anything in a turn, right? So
then after a turn, I would then come back down into my size again.
Yeah, but do you hurt yourself on the way down? Does the rage continue?
I'm gonna say that he doesn't fall enough to like deal damage to himself. Like, because if you like fall onto soft, swampy soil from standing, I don't think you're gonna take any damage.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I do grow in size, so hopefully that could be very interesting for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sudden pause and hush as the giants watch you grow in size. Interestingly as well, when you activate this effect, Threign, the frost giant features become a little bit more obvious. Your skin takes on a slightly paler pallor. The areas of frost that occasionally glisten across your beard and face strengthen as you grow in size. Your hair taking on this much lighter white appearance. Your eyes.
I would even love for
crystalline.
the beard. The beard would be really cool if it's like you said, frosting up.
Yes.
Almost like it's like freezing up. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and your breath steams and coalesces in front of you as you breathe out and exhale. This crystallizes in front of you. There's a pause as the giants watch you grow to enormous size, trip, stumble, land on your ass, and then shrink back down again like Mario, having worn off the mushroom. There's this sudden pause and silence. One of the Drengir looks down, the warrior who had handed you the slab of meat, the old gentleman, and then looks at Bravi. Bravi shakes his head imperceptibly, this sort of subtle shake, and then nods over towards Morla and Gunglot. The rest of the Drengir, the warriors, pause and then continue on packing up the camp, giving themselves like a chatter, sort of picking up once again. A few of them reaching out and throwing over one massive bedroll that they roll out for all of you to lie on, like it's almost like a 6-man bed sideways. So where a giant would lie on it head to toe, you can lie on it sideways, and it's a perfectly sized bed for all of you to just lie on this large bedroll. You can almost get a few sticks and turn it into a tent. It is so large.
Wow.
And I think that is where you drop off to sleep. You awaken the next morning. Niles expecting to be absolutely writhing in pain after his night of drinking. Ember and Threign expecting to have a pretty nasty hangover. But surprisingly, you wake up feeling a bit dry, a bit dehydrated, but not in as much pain as you thought you should. Noises are a little bit louder, the lights are a little bit bright, but nowhere near how sick you should feel. Niles, you in particular, I mean, you sort of stumble out of bed, ready to be in excruciating pain. As an Owlin, sunlight at the best of times is sometimes a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
As you walk out, your pupils down to pinpricks. But even then, it's not as bad as you're expecting. You awaken. You do start the day with 1 point of damage, and that's it. That's It's the only ill effect, along with a sense of like a grumbly tummy as your stomach protests at having to have processed that much alcohol without any water to help you along. But for Threign and Ember, you feel, I'd say, mildly hungover. You know you should be worse than this. Lyra, you wake up feeling great. No problems at all. And Harry, you didn't drink anything, so you wake up feeling uncool. Sorry. I couldn't resist. As you awaken and head out, you can see that breakfast is being prepared by the other hill giants. Morla seems to be asleep, her form having sunk back down into the crystal blue water, leaving most of her shell exposed. No longer able to be mistaken for an island, the shell overnight, after the effect of Ember's efforts with this spell with plant growth, is actually shining once more, looking almost polished. You can see lines that almost look like tree rings on each section of her shell-like scales. The land around has bloomed even more so. Trees surrounding this island are laden with fruit, heavy, the branches almost drooping under their weight. The hill giants, for their part, look fairly amused by this, excitedly gathering up much of the bounty that has suddenly provided itself to them. Two of the giants wading out into the waters and trying to catch some of the fish with their large nets. Gunglot sits by herself over towards the far edge of the island encampment. Shoes off, pants rolled up to her knees, dipping her feet in the crystal clear waters, she sits back and looks out towards the sun as it rises over the eastern trees. What would you guys like to do?
Yes, let's not all answer at once.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that your characters would take a moment to just like, just to
100%.
sink in how different this place looks after a night.
Yeah.
Not just the curse breaking, but the spell plant growth that Ember cast. I mean, Ember and Lyra in particular, there's an energy to this place now, an energy that you can sense as druids. This place is vibrant and teeming. It feels powerful. It feels awake. Whereas the land before felt dead, this feels alive.
I think for Niles, he doesn't necessarily sense the same way that the druids do, but he does feel like a life force sort of emanating more so from this land now that he probably didn't experience before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You might even, well, with you talking about fish, over the course of like the last 24 hours, it's probably like some form of animal life like now starting to make their way back in, if you're talking about fish and such.
100%. Yeah. Frogs, lizards, fish. You can occasionally see larger eels, like much larger eels. We're talking sort of like 9 feet long, swimming through the bushes and digging out tunnels again for their hollowed out homes in the soil under the water. You see a small group of river otters playing over near the far side of the glade. This place is alive. Yeah, that was a really good use of plant growth, Si.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Very thematic as well.
Yeah.
Very much so.
If you have played D&D as a druid and you've used plant growth, let me know if you've ever used the 8-hour casting of plant growth, because I never have as a player. And it's one of those things where like it's got such potential, but I think it's one of those things that you just don't remember to use or don't think about using. So I mean, yeah, absolutely. Ember, you are actually going to get an inspiration for that. That is so thoroughly in keeping with your character, in keeping with your background, in keeping with that is a real character roleplay moment for you.
Fantastic.
100%.
Well, I mean, considering that we've now just come out, and is Mola still asleep under the water, or is she?
Yeah, her head seems to be buried back under the water, but whereas before her shell was covered in slime and mud and dirt to make it look like a small hill. It's not that big. Now it is really clearly a massive turtle shell, and you can see her feet splayed out underneath the crystal blue water. Schools of fish darting around and moving around her, hiding in her shade from the predators. Hawks that fly above. A few Brahminy kites, very specifically Australian bird for any Australian tweeters out there, people who like birds.
Ooh, there you go.
I know about kites.
Yeah.
I am a conservationist, so I should.
This is for Jared. This goes out to Jared. A few
I'm
Brahminy
a
kites.
real life druid.
The real life druid.
You are. You
I
actually
haven't
are.
played one either.
Wow. I actually saw a kite the other day, kind of gliding around near the park.
They're really cool. They
Yeah.
the kites like they hover.
Yes.
Like they're one of the
using
few that actually
thermals.
sort of can.
Yeah.
And then they hover, and then they like go in when they see.
It's a real telltale sign when you see them. They kind of just hover there.
Yeah.
And it's really odd to see because you don't expect a bird to kind of be in a stationary position in the air. And then you see them just dive down. It's really impressive.
So Brahminy kites have a pure white head and belly, and then this like red russet wings on top of their body. They're very beautiful birds.
I don't think we get. I don't know if
They're
they
mostly
are down here.
Queenslander. I think Queensland.
Because we have
New South Wales.
black-shouldered kites.
Yes.
We have other kites too. So they're really
This
cool.
is such an aside.
Anyway, sorry.
No. I've absolutely actively participated in this. So I fucking started it.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you can see birds flying over above, occasionally diving down and snatching fish from the water.
I think Niles is probably sees Gunlock just kind of sitting on her own, and he kind of like glances around to see, if there's anyone that's kind of standing near her, and he probably just just flies up, kind of nearby to Gunlock and just sort of says, "Good morning, Gunlock. Couldn't help but see that you were on your own here. I trust things went well with Mola last night. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about that."
Niles, no. The conversation went long into the night. I did not have much of a chance to speak with you after the celebrations had drawn to might I say, an early finish? Earlier than I was expecting of my Drengya.
Yeah, well, you must forgive me. I kind of lost a little bit of track of time there. I think the celebrations, I haven't partaken in a celebration of that scale for quite a long time. My judgment of time is a little bit confused this morning. To me, it seems like it went a very long time.
The reserve Methlaglen will do that to you. I thought you were rather brave, all of you, accepting drinks from hill giants. There's one thing we do very well, it is brew.
Well, that is fair. I do feel quite good this morning, admittedly. I thought I would feel a little bit worse for wear, but no, I feel quite good, all things considered. But yeah, it's good to hear that things with Gunlock went well.
With Mola, yes, they did go.
Oh, sorry.
No, not at all. There are many names that you have to remember, often with not a lot of context. There's another DM speaking, I guess. Yes, talks went very well. She, in no small part, thanks to your efforts to help her, free her from the denying that had been placed upon her, she was very grateful for your help and said that you spoke rather highly of me and my clan. And she is willing to once again dive down deep into the ocean to help locate the oil that we require to help power many of our machines. We do not use the fancy machines that the Cloud and the Storm Giants create. We prefer to understand how our things work. If you cannot see its mind, how can you know what it is thinking?
This is a good
Where
point.
do the thoughts come from? So no, we generally like to use much simpler machines. You put fuel in, and motion or movement comes out. Or sometimes a cannonball, depending on the type of machine we use.
Niles kind of looks out over the water a little bit at this point, and sort of just keeps talking. But sort of says, I guess there is a certain simplicity to this, something quite elegant in it. Something that I haven't really thought of before. My knowledge of giant technology is quite fledgling, and I suppose the hill giant technology is the one thing I know the least amount about. But in my brief time with you, it does seem like there is an elegance to it. It isn't as complicated, but there is a simple understanding, maybe perhaps more of a grounded feeling to it. There's more of an appreciation for it in the natural world. It is an interesting thing to consider.
And you, with those words, you prove yourself wiser than most of the Storm Giant mystics, as they call themselves. A thing does not need to be complicated to be beautiful. I often have found the simple things to be far more beautiful. Yes, indeed. We agree with everything you say. It is how we have lived for generations, and how we will continue to live for generations again.
Indeed. I guess my only other question is, what now? You've got Mola now to find the oil. Will you be staying in this region for much longer, or are you going to prepare to, I suppose, confront your brothers, was it?
Yes, my two brothers. And no, we are going to follow Mola out to sea for the next week or so, while she dives down deep to find the oil. Once we have found a rich vein, we will tap it and drain it and refill our tanks once again. Our fort is running rather low on fuel. In the astral space, we do not have to worry too much about fuel. The gravity there is different, but since coming back, it has been much harder without any constant supply. But with Moller's help, I think we will be able to power most of our engines as well as some of our weapons. Then we are ready to clash with the other clans. Because there is a fight coming soon as well. And it gives me an opportunity to ask something that not many of my kind would be willing to ask. Despite being small folk, I think all of you have proved yourselves giant in heart, shall we say. And I would have a place for you in the coming battle. All of you.
Well, that is an honor, Gunlord. That is an incredible honor to beseech upon us. I'm sure the others will be most pleased to hear that. I guess now, I guess I will chat to my companions and I will see what next where next we are needed.
I will tell truths. It is pragmatism. We are not many in number. My brothers proved persuasive in their recruitment. I would have every man, woman, fighter that I can in the battlements.
Indeed. Well, thank you. Your words honor us, and may our alliance, our friendship with you only continue to strengthen in the coming months and years.
There is one other thing. Speak to Bravi, my skald, when you get a chance. He had a chat with me last night. It seems he has found something that may be of interest to all of you. And your predicament? The items in your hands?
I kind of glanced down at the crystal. That would be good. That would be anything we can find out about these crystals will certainly help us in the long run. We're also trying to figure it out. It's a bit complicated, but if Bravi has something, it'd be good to hear from him.
Yes, speak with Bravi when you get the chance, all of you. For now, I must prepare to head back and bring the fort over here. Mola will awaken soon, and she has told us she will not be waiting for the young ones, as she calls it.
That's I suppose if she's raring to go, there's not much you can say or do to stop her. When she gets an idea in her mind, I think she'll stick to it.
Indeed, I think that is truth.
I guess before we depart, is there any way that we might be able to contact you? And if we need to send you a message or any type of communication, is there anything that you prefer or anything that you use?
What do your people use to communicate between cities and towns when they need to contact another?
Well, we do have the Arakokra service. I suppose I could engage their services if need be, if we return back to Oxenford.
Bird people like you, no?
Yes. Very similar to me and my kind, but a little bit different. Less owl-like and more bird-like in our appearance.
We did have a very colourful one come through when we first arrived, with an invitation to go and meet with an ambassador, they called themselves, from Palin. Had a long black beak and colourful rainbow plumage. Is this one of the messengers?
I believe it would be, yes. That may have been an Arakokra message. Would I know that's a messenger, like an Arakokra messenger?
I mean, it sounds like a toucan Arakokra. Probably a messenger.
Yeah.
Probably a messenger.
Because I forgive me if I'm just assuming this, but there is like a specific like guild of Arakokra.
Yeah. A number of Arakokra long ago banded together to form a Nostea-wide messenger guild.
Yeah,
and
cool.
in almost every city. Yeah, in every city across Oshia, Balmia, even as far as Chiari, the Dragonborn capital, you will find, probably in the two major cities of the Dragonborn and dragons, you will find an Arakokra messenger tower. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the dwarves
Okay.
of Balmir, at the top of the Giant's Fingers mountain range, which the mountain dwarves have actually hollowed out this entire mountain range, the very top of the middle finger, there is a small platform for the Aarakocra messenger birds to come and leave from, the Aarakocra to fly from.
Yeah. No, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Niles says that, but he also says, "Oh, there are other methods, magical methods that we can use as well. We may, if I myself do lack the ability to, but maybe some of my companions or other people in our guild may be able to contact you as well, if need be."
Any of those methods would work. Magic
Excellent.
would work. Just make sure you identify who it is and how you're using magic. We
Oh, of course.
don't just trust all forms of magic inherently. The
Indeed.
magic you use, the magic all of your people use, the people of this land, it is strange the way it functions. It is not so simple as runic magic. It seems more complex, more... it is interesting. Not as pure as the runes. You just write what you want to happen. Magic happens.
Wow. That is an interesting thought. My knowledge of magic is severely, well, I wouldn't say severely, but it is limited compared to others. But I'm sure others in my group might wish to discuss that further with you. The possibilities of runic magic is, well, understandably, are quite unknown. So I'm sure there may be people who might want to ask you questions in the coming days. But I will relay all of this back to my party, and I guess if we don't see you before we leave, I will I bid you farewell.
If any of the others wanted to be there with Niles, I'm sure Niles...
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
wouldn't-
have to be. I don't have to be alone. There could be others.
Harry is running around on the grass.
Oh, cool.
Just
I'm
doing
probably
the
still
rabbit things.
little zoomies.
Little
probably-
zoomies.
I'm still probably buddying up with some of the giants. Trying
Yeah,
to,
yeah. I mean,
cool.
they're having a great
Some-
old time with you.
Yeah.
I was definitely trying to
collecting
sneak
some of the fruit.
spores.
Yeah.
You're trying to what? Sorry. Let's go Ali first, then we'll go Sai. What did you say, Ali?
If there's any sort of dark or dank, less vegetated areas that seem
Got rid of all that.
applicable for mushroom growth, you might just sort of be.
You're trying to re-encourage the.
I mean, we've had the
You are such a
encouragement of
killer
plant.
of fun.
We've had the encouragement of plant growth. We've got the animals that have come in, but the ecosystem is unbalanced. We need
No, that's fair enough.
something
You
to
need
take
the-
care of the detritus.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good
That's
point.
true. It is
It
true.
is a good point.
True. I was
Yeah, I
joking.
mean, underneath some of the trees.
Actually helps a lot of nutrients actually flow from
Exactly.
the tree. So
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Without fungus
communication
and
network.
nitrogen-fixing bacteria, all decaying matter would be locked out of the ecosystem once again. Lyra, underneath each of the trees in between their roots, you're able to plant some small spores and encourage the early stages of mycelium growth around the roots of the trees to help eat and consume the decaying plant matter. As the leaves drop onto the ground around the roots, now there is a healthy population of fungus to help consume and recycle that nutrients back into the ecosystem once again. Ember, what did you say you were doing?
I'd be collecting fruit, and I probably would have. I mean, I feel like I was working with Morla for about 8 hours the
Yeah.
day before. I probably would have yelled out, "Good morning, Morla," whether or not she responds or not. Who knows?
Yeah,
So-
as you call out "Good morning, Morla," I'd say probably like collect the fruit first. Everyone's sort of getting ready. The camp begins to get packed up, and you've got a few moments to yourself, Ember. And as you head on over to Morla's shell, half buried in the water and soil underneath, you shout out to her. For a moment, there's silence, and then you watch as a ripple moves across the water away from the shell. And then with the sound of groaning wood and breaking stone, Morla slowly begins to rise back up again, the feet slamming down into the water, creating small waves that ripple off over the edge of the island. And as the head pulls up and stretches round, one eye opens, turns, and then another as she looks down and yawns, her enormous mouth eclipsing you, casting you in shadow as even the sun behind her is blocked out by this enormous maw opening wide. People, curse breakers, now slayers. I slept so soundly last night. Nothing nipped my heels, cut into my shell or scales. And I awake to see the warm sun again. She pauses and begins sniffing, her eyes sort of turning towards the trees nearby. From this angle, Ember, with the sun now reflecting, you can see that she has some pretty intense cataracts as well. Just given her age. She sort of squints as she stares through at this grove of trees. Ah, I smell fruit. And she opens her mouth wide and clamps down on one of the trees, tearing it up, roots and all. And as she throws her head back, crunches down. The tree is splintered as it is torn apart. And she... sweet, clear, clean. What have you done to these lands, little caretaker?
I've blessed the lands essentially. I've made it. They'll be more bountiful for you for at least the next year or so. Might sound like a short time to you, but a good amount of time for the land to recover.
This magic. You are Grove Keeper.
You could say that. I don't mind that title.
Yeah, it's not a term you've heard before. Grove Keeper. It sounds familiar. I mean, you know that the Druids often call their areas either groves or enclaves. I almost said conclaves. Groves or enclaves. But the title of Grove Keeper, do you want to make me a quick history check? I reckon that'd be something potentially you might know.
Sure can.
We shall see.
The 4? I don't think so.
Who's got the awesome ringtone? Simon has the awesome ringtone. 4. Nah, you've never heard Grove Keeper before. Ember? Nah.
Well, Mauler, I think we're going to be heading off shortly. I just thought I'd ask before I leave, is there anything else that might be buried around here that might help me on my journey, or anything that you know about these? And I'll hold my hand up with the stone and be like, anything you know about this?
Let me look. She sort of tries to get an angle down, her head pushing into the sand and the muddy soil as she gets one enormous eye. I mean, you are the size of her eye. It is huge. As she pushes her head down to look and you hold up your hand, one enormous eyelid half closes as she squints. Press that little trinket against my snout. I will see what I can sense. She slowly turns her head back towards you.
Yep, I'll put my hand right on that nostril.
I'm going to need a wisdom saving throw, please, Ember.
Oh, sure thing.
12.
12?
Ember. For a moment, you feel sensation suddenly fall away. Temperature, taste, sound, sight, all fading out into grayscale. And you feel old. You feel the endless march of days, weeks, years push through and push past you. Facing eternity. This feeling of being so old. And then as sight suddenly returns to you, you find yourself looking down at a tiny figure. Looks familiar. Greyish skin, slightly reddish brown hair, greyish blue, almost sheep-like ears, placing its hand against your snout. This young creature, this tiny speck. It'll be gone in an eye blink. Nothing left, even its bones turn to dust, leaving behind nothing.
I obviously would go to look around. I'm clearly... would I recognise myself in front of me?
No, there's a familiarity to it, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It seems oddly familiar, but You're not sure why or how. Feels like a distant dream. So much time has passed. It's hard to remember. Suddenly, you feel yourself being pulled back, and as you turn, a hand on your shoulder, blazing black and red with flame. An armoured form, dressed in these dark, iron-plated metal, flowing, almost looking like it's being moulded out of lava itself, molten metal given shape and form. A beard made of fire blazing around this dark black skin, cracks of glowing ember through it, and these burning red eyes. And suddenly you remember yourself again, and remember this figure. You've seen this shape, this form before. A fire giant, Eldia. The name suddenly comes to you. It's the fire giant you see, the echo that you've lived before.
Not today, little one. You are too young to be lost in the eyes of a dragon turtle. Come, you are not ready for this yet.
Suddenly there's a rush. Your vision returns and you pull your hand away from Mauler. The stone is bright red, glowing hot in your hand. You can feel the heat emanating from it, and as you turn over and look, you watch tiny flames begin to fade away, dancing across your hands and across the stone. Mauler pulls back, and you see a tiny burn print in the shape of your hand on her nose.
That burns. I do not like that little stone. Feels like flame, like fire.
Oh,
Sorry.
good baby.
Sorry, Mauler.
I'm still in shock. What did you do?
Nothing. I reached out, felt a presence push back, then the heat, burning like the sun.
And you didn't learn anything from your spells?
Oh, I learned that I do not like that hot stone. To burn my scales, your flesh should be melted.
Wow.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Mauler, for trying to help. I suppose I'll have to keep searching for more answers on this.
Maybe don't touch it to other people who are just trying to help.
Are you actually trying to help?
I was. Now I don't want anything to do with that rude stone.
Well, thank you for trying.
As Mauler presses her face down into the water, it sizzles ever so slightly. The section of scale.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Mauler. We must be off. But as I mentioned, was there anything else around here that you think might be of use for us on our journeys? You've been here for a while. I imagine you've collected some things.
The place where you slew the Nithing, the Barrowghast. You should look through many components, rare items needed to complete the Nithing, bound within that rotten form. You should pick through whatever remains. Maybe something survived, something you can use.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mauler, and I'll walk off to investigate the area.
Perfect. I'd probably say at this point the rest of you kind of, as Mauler throws her head back in pain after being burned, I'd say that probably does draw some of your attention. Mauler moving very quickly. The Drengir packing up camp certainly notice, hands again dropping to weapons as they fall into battle-ready stances before realizing they're not under attack right now, and keeping a wary, watchful eye on Mauler. As Ember heads on over to the decomposed pile of black sludge that was once the Barrowghast, this hulking undead giant form. You can see that with the efforts of your spell, plant growth, and with the breaking of the curse, you can see that all around this section where the Nithing was killed has actually been left unaffected by the spell. There is still this one tiny circle of blight, roughly about 15 feet in diameter, of this dark grey soil. You can see along the edges, grass has grown to make a perfect circle, and as the wind changes, one of the blades of grass slowly leans over and immediately rots right back to the stem as it passes over the border of this circle of blighted land. In the center, a dark barrow of dark black soil rises up like a small crest, roughly about 5-6 feet high. This almost what looks like a shallow grave that's been dug, something buried underneath to make a small pile of dirt. This grave soil, almost like a brackish grey purple colour, marking its surface. I'd say all of you kind of see Ember heading over and see Mauler do this at this point. You can reunite as a party if you like.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I'll
Why not,
head
hey?
into I'll head into the circle and I'll start looking around to see if I can see anything on the floor, and if not, I will push aside some of the dirt.
Yeah, perfect. As you begin sort of picking through, sort of nudging things aside to try and see what you can see, could you make me an investigation check, please?
Nothing happens to Ember when he enters the circle, does it?
No. It only affects plants, the
Okay.
blight.
Are we able to assist him in any way with this? Well, since we're all
Yeah, I'd
there?
say so. Sure.
How many 8s have I rolled tonight? Yep.
We got a lot of low rolls tonight.
7.
Happens. And happened again.
Happens again. As you begin
I
sort of...
will.
Oh, yes, you go.
I was going to say I might as well use that inspiration just for a third go of it. And see if I can
Oh,
get
shit.
lights out the way.
Yeah.
I mean, thematically, like, you want to get rid of the blight, so yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're very high wisdom base. I don't think there's a lot of intelligence these days.
Our
Look at that.
intelligent character disappeared.
Oh, we
Where
also
did
lost our
he-
strength characters.
Where
so...
did he go? Where did that cheeky little scamp disappear to?
Well, I guess like
Could
it's
I-
like intelligence or frontline fighter. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would just
Can I also
seem-
do a nature check to try and recognize what is happening in the area, or if I would know anything about it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can make me a nature check. Of course you can.
16's pretty good though.
16.
Oh,
Sorry,
Ooh,
16 was the
nice.
investigation. 23. Yeah, I mean, the curse that you broke, that the Nithing, the giants call it, this whatever this curse was powerful. It has lasted after the death of the caster, and it has persisted undiminished by the passage of time. The most powerful magic, even when disrupted and destroyed, will often leave a scar. This is that scar. There is nothing that will remove this blight. It will remain for the rest of time. This 15-foot circle of damage, this scar upon the very land itself. As the continents shift and change, if this becomes sea or coral reef, there will be a perfect circle of blight amongst the coral, of bleached coral, in this exact spot 1,000,000 years from now. And 100% you would know that it is a sphere, not just a single circle. It is a sphere, 15-foot sphere where this curse was disrupted. This scar will remain forever. It will never disappear. It doesn't affect animals, only plant life. Would it affect coral then? Coral's technically a plant. I guess I have to concede that coral would be unaffected. Sponges would fail to grow here if it was a coral reef in the future, because coral's technically an animal. So this section will be dead. This 15-foot sphere will always be cursed, blighted land. It will never spread. It won't grow, but the soil taken from here, I mean, I would say, Ember, with a 23, you know that some powerful spells require magic from these places, magic from scarred places. Given that this is a necromantic, a necrotic blight, probably some necromancers would pay good money for some of this soil. If they were to find out about this place, they could use some of the soil from this to help raise powerful undead. This soil is a very powerful item. Whatever comes from here will be, blighted. But It's not the sort of thing you want to be carrying around for long periods of time. Even though it won't spread, if you spend too long in close proximity to it, you will start to find it draining your own life source.
Cool. And with the investigation check, do I find anything within the dirt?
16. Yes, you do. I'm going to get you to roll me a D100, please.
Sure thing. 86.
86.
Not bad.
Interesting. Okay. As you reach in and sort of begin pushing through the soil, you find your fingers brushing something hard, something crystalline. And as you brush aside the soil, from inside this dark barrow, light begins to emanate. You pull forward a small sphere, roughly about 3 feet in diameter, glowing with a soft white-blue glow. And as you hold it aloft and examine it, it begins to glow and pulse very slightly in your hands. I'm going to put a picture of it in chat for those of you who are watching.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That's cool.
That's cool. Jinx Yumiko.
It's the
What was that?
Harengon.
Recognize it, or
Do you want to make me an Arcana check? Anyone else who's
8.
around Ember
Okay.
can make this Arcana check as well. If you like. It doesn't need to just be Ember.
Okay.
Ember, you've got
I
no
have it.
fucking idea. This is like a crystal
I have it.
ball. Can you contact spirits, maybe? Who knows? 3.
I don't know.
Two.
Niles,
Let's
it's a
do
crystal
it.
ball. You can contact spirits with this.
Wow!
12.
What are these rolls?
Oh, these rolls, man.
Lyra,
Is actually
6.
okay.
Maybe you can summon
Hey,
spirits
there you
with
go.
this? Harry,
Probably
16.
Better.
It's a drift globe.
Ridiculous, Elvis.
This is a drift globe. It's a small sphere of thick glass. It has been enchanted so that as long as you are within 60 feet of it and you speak a command word, you can cause it to emanate light, or once per day emanate daylight. You can use it to cast the daylight spell, a 60-foot radius of daylight around you. There are 3 command words, one for light, one for daylight, and another command word to make it rise up from the ground and float about 5 feet off and follow you.
Cool.
Can I do the light still with that?
Yeah, it can
what's
still
that
be lit.
word?
Oh, cool.
What's that third word?
Only Ember knows this. As Ember, as you pick this up.
Oh, no.
Actually, I'm going to say that it's not words. Ember, as you pick this up, you watch as the light across its surface dances and shifts, and 3 runes in the giant language appear one after the other. The rune for light, the rune for sunlight, and the rune for follow.
Oh, that's cool.
awesome. And okay, and I obviously can read all those words, which is great. So
You recognize a little bit of the giant language written. I mean, Firbolg is a form of giant language, so I mean, these particular runes, just coincidentally enough, are similar enough between the 2 languages.
Do you know what's hilarious? Ember, you've just discovered HM Flash. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh! You get through the rock tunnel when you get to Lavender Tower.
Oh my god, he's ready to go into the Underdark.
Yeah, he's ready.
I love it.
That's so good.
For those of you who might not have noticed, Simon is playing a Pokemon trainer, essentially,
Yeah.
as Ember. Yeah, you've picked up HM Flash. Next is Cut and then Strength.
I love it.
Brick Break.
love
No,
it.
Rock Break. Rock Smash.
Rock Smash, yeah.
I mean, look, you said it was
Oh,
3
that's
feet, so it's
amazing.
quite large, isn't it? So
I
my-
realize I'm gonna walk back from 3 feet because I'm gonna be honest, I'm used to dealing in metric, not feet. It's like a foot. So like 30 centimeters.
Great,
It's
awesome.
quite
Well,
large.
It is, it's big.
Does it
Yeah.
fit in the backpack? Or
Yeah.
great. Well, I'm gonna pick it up.
I guess you're best.
and
You're pretty big, yeah.
I'm gonna call it Flash.
Ali,
and
Alice.
I'm gonna pop it in my bag.
I'm gonna need you to say out loud what you just said then, because we're gonna name and shame you
yeah.
for this. What did you just type into chat?
So I'm way behind on this. So epic whoosh, but is the name Ember a take on Ash?
No one say anything. No one say anything. Simon, what's your character's full name and title?
I am Ember of the Collectives.
Could that in any way or form be related to Ash Ketchum? I don't know. Hard to know. It's very hard to. I can't see any correlation or connection there.
I think you just need to leave that to the imagination, man. Like, I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure Ember's artwork has a Pokeball somewhere on
It
it.
has a Pokeball. You can
Yeah,
see it on the
that's
overlay in the very
sure.
center of his chest. There's a
It's
Pokeball.
Pokemon related, but like I only just got the name.
The first time he summoned his little thing Flicker, he said, "Flicker, I choose you." Like, I don't know how much more blatant he could have been.
I knew it was Pokemon theme.
Oh, it's just the name.
Flicker even sounds like Picker. I mean, like, come on. That was very. I only just realised that similarity then. So was that deliberate the whole time for Flicker?
Yes,
yeah,
it
that's
was.
fantastic. Okay, nice. Love
Wow.
it. Oh my god. Okay.
Yep. So I will take that, and the only other thing I wanted to do is when I attacked the Barrowghast, I threw like I can't remember what it was. It was like a sprig of like holly or something like that. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna if there's any of that still growing around there, I'm gonna break some off and I'm gonna put it in a little glass vial, and I'm gonna keep that as like a little badge for my battle.
Oh, actually,
cool.
I've got a better idea than that. If you're happy to indulge me for your very first gym badge, as you pull free the drift globe, it's actually Harry who spots this, a little glint of metal on the ground, and as you sort of like begin kicking away at the soil with your sort of long dexterous rabbit feet, Harry, you see what looks like a little shard of junk metal. At first you thought it might be a little bit interesting, but it turns out it's just a shard of metal, probably from the Barrowghast's belt, one of the sections of rotten leather, one of the belt buckles maybe. You sort of move past it, begin sort of hopping around. Ember, as you bend down and pick it up, you can see that the flames that you had thrown at this thing and Flicker's fire that had burned it has actually slightly melted the metal into almost what looks like this spiraling teardrop form, as what was maybe once part of a buckler, maybe once part of a belt buckle, has actually melted into this small, probably like 5 centimeter long teardrop shape of molten metal with a giant rune in the very center.
Perfect. Well, I will take that, and that will be my little memento from the fight.
You like,
So
pin it to your pack.
I would like to approach Ember real quick. As you were looking at the drift globe and
I
you
run
find
away,
a little
yeah.
thing.
I cast Daylight, hold it up in his face and run. I'm going to do Flash.
But no, I will approach him and be like, so, because I rolled a 12 for my Arcana, did I know it was drift globe as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
And is the drift globe, it seems like it's an ancient giant tech.
Yeah, so this item clearly, like, from what you've understood, Threign, one of the material components of this kniving was the body of a hill giant who had fallen in battle. That was one of the material components, and so the kniving kind of possessed this corpse, and the curse animated it. So when you destroyed the body and the container for the curse itself was dispelled. Yeah, I mean, this looks like... I would say that probably Threign, you know that your village has 2 of these.
Yep.
One in the main long hall and another one over the village gate that constantly cast light, even during the dark of winter. Because you're from the far north, so yeah, in winter when the sun never rises, these are the only 2 things that provide light to your town.
Okay.
To your.
I was just that's cool, because I was just wondering, because if there was none of these at all, I was gonna approach this a little differently, because the whole thing I left was to discover giant tech.
Yeah.
That is a great find, my friend. That we only have a few of them up in my village. To find one here that's most momentous. Please watch over it and keep it safe. I'd love to take it back to my village and show them that there are more of these.
Oh, definitely. I'd love to see more of this, and holding the orb still and impressed by it. Actually, if I was reading the runes on it, because I mean, you guys knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was straight away with my 8. Would I have, by reading the rune out loud, would it have actually set it off? Or
Yes, if you say it out loud, it immediately lights up.
Wait, does Ember know it's a drift globe?
No. No.
Oh, okay. Do you know what this is, my friend? Do you know what you have in your hand?
No, but it says light and follow, and
if you may, can I just hold it for a sec?
As you say light with the giant rune, you kind of picture it in your mind. Immediately, the drift globe begins to glow with this soft blue light.
because I've actually worked with some of these. I think I might give Ember just Threign in his own way would give him a bit of a rundown of a quick tutorial in his own way. Not like very. It's not like how Crassus would approach it, but Threign. This is Driftglow, my friend. We have these up in the north. They keep the light in our village going, like because it gets so dark. This is the rune. You obviously know the runes, light and daylight and other such things. So, no, keep it close. It'd be very handy when all lights go out.
Oh, fantastic! I'll keep it close by.
You've got it. Whenever you say that, you have to do it as, you must keep this as a light when all other lights go out. You have to commit to the
that popped
Galadriel
in my
voice.
head.
It was good. I liked it. Always a fan of a good Lord of the Rings.
For which when
reference.
I find a bike and I'm not allowed to use it here, it's not appropriate. So
Yeah. Yeah, the professor's words echo in your ears. There's a time and a place for this, Ember.
So good.
As you go to cast daylight, you're already outside. There's no need to use this.
I love
Cool.
it.
awesome.
Brilliant. Perfect. Did you guys? What would you like to do? I'll in the purposes for the purposes of keeping things kind of moving. If you wanted to speak to Bravi, the Skald, now's a really good time to do it because they're going to offer to take you back.
Actually, we don't know Niles.
Well, Niles having come over and been a part of all of this, I'd probably say, that reminds me. I was just chatting to Gunlot, and she said that Bravi, the Skald, had something to say to us about the crystals, the Yalfsfield. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, really? Perfect. Let's
Yeah.
go then. We've figured this out. Let's go and see what he has to say. Come on, let's go. Come on, team. Come on. And I start trudging my way through the water and the things again to where we need to go.
Yep.
Bravi is already
Harry
back at
shoulder.
his. You follow? Perfect. I'm going to assume you're following.
Harry jumps on Threign's shoulder.
Oh, nice.
Oh, perfect. Always. Oh, yes. Come on, jump on my furry friend. Come on, let's go.
Come, little rabbit. I will lead you
Probably
to
even-
greener pastures.
And as I go, I probably would hum some old Goliath sort of adventuring traveling tune.
And for some strange reason, it sounds like run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Yeah, it's weird.
Harry finds it really catchy and joins in.
Oh, even better.
With little squeaks as well, because you're like a little rabbit making little squeaky noises. As you get back towards the long ship that Bravi had flown you guys across in the very first time, you can see he's getting it ready. A number of the other hill giants, some of the Drengir, working with him, tying supplies, packing up camp and putting it back on the ship. As he sees you approaching, this very old hill giant, the long braided beard tied into these beautiful knots, sort of turns and looks, gives a bit of a smile, and goes,
I wondered when you might be coming to speak to me. Let's take a walk away from these boneheads.
as he looks over towards the other Drengir, you go, hey, up yours! As they look back at him. He gives him a smile and a nod. Leads you over towards one of the other smaller islands. Takes a seat on a large stone.
I was thinking about what you showed me, those items in your hands. Reminds me of a tale that I heard long ago when I was a young lad. It was a story about an item created by the storm giants. Item created to hold all of their pasts together, keep them collected. Any storm giant who wanted could tap into this, see through their ancestors' eyes, hear what they heard, feel what they felt. This gift helped them understand and see the future. For you see, there is no greater temptation for a storm giant, no greater urge than to see into the future. This gift of prophecy is a curse as well. Storm giants are obsessed with understanding what is to come. I suspect that's only gotten worse after our imprisonment in the astral space for so long. Can't imagine they saw that coming. Anyway, this tale, gift, was given to all of the giant clans, representatives from each, given access to this knowledge. An item they can carry on their person. At any moment, could tap in and see the past, see through the eyes of others who would also touch these devices. But it also led to their downfall. You see, so many minds stored together. So many experiences, memories, hopes and dreams. But also fears, hatreds, anger. Because all of a person's mind was stolen by this thing, was copied across. Like a blacksmith making 100 swords, the hammer that forged it, a single break in its hilt, giving the same flaw to each one. All those minds mixing together, all their fears, created something new. A mind made of many. A mind with goals of its own. The storm giants, they were scared of this thing. So they tried to seal it away. I heard they were successful. That whatever this thing was, they'd stopped it. The story was that gone rogue, malfunctioned, but was easily fixed. The items taken from those who had borne them, destroyed, sealed, forgotten, sitting in some storm giant vault at the bottom of the ocean. Then you lot show up, those pretty little gemstones in your hands. You speak of seeing the past. It just made me think of this old tale. I always thought it was a story told amongst the hill giants, the skald who taught me to hammer home the weakness of the storm giants, the cloud giants. I mean, they present as this strong, united front, seeking knowledge and power. But it came at a cost, and that's what this story told. And I thought it was a fanciful tale, meant to scare the young hill giantlings, make sure they go to bed, listen to their parents, eh? No, I don't really believe in coincidence. Seems like this tale's a bit too similar. What say you? Does any of this ring true? Does this sound like what you've experienced?
We definitely met someone. Fractured and not whole. They didn't seem evil, but they did seem confused and possibly somewhat conflicted. They wanted out. Or to be combined? I guess, did they want the rest of themselves?
From what you've described, wanting freedom, I can't begrudge a man or a woman that. Wanting to be free. It's what we all want, isn't it? Is this thing trapped or imprisoned somehow? I mean, the story seems to imply that the storm giants destroyed or hid it away.
It is, to our understanding, fractured, broken into parts, but still very much aware of itself and is trying to come back together. It wants to become whole again.
Interesting. Well, I'm afraid I don't have much real advice for you, just this cautionary tale that was passed down by my teacher to me. I don't know how much of it is applicable to your situation, how much of it's true, how much of it's a tale to scare children. But if I could offer any advice, lived a while, gathered some aspect or semblance of wisdom, maybe you should ask more questions before you trust.
That is very wise of you.
That's what I do.
I know you haven't had too much of a good outlook on the storm giants, but would you think it would be worth finding one of them and talking to them about it? I mean, would that be dangerous? We were thinking maybe Sinmare, but... I mean, if you think
Look,
that's not a good
know.
idea.
I know a little of the Storm Giant Princess. She seems the best of the lot, but my experience, Storm Giants aren't fully to be trusted. There's always some angle, some game they're playing, and often you find out what it is far too late. Because if you don't know what the game is, then you're the one being played. You can?
There was another question I had, if you didn't mind. During one of our visions, we went back in time to when the gates were opened here, when the small folk arrived on this world. Interestingly enough, the hill giants were absent. Do you know why they were absent?
Nay, not something I know much about. Not sure why. I wasn't around for that. Was learning, travelling. I only found out about the gates being opened when dragons were seen flying overhead. Bloody great lizards. It's the first I heard they'd opened up portals between the worlds.
Interesting. Thank you. No, that's something to think about.
If you want my best guess, say the hill giants felt that they had no part to play in it. We probably wouldn't have trusted any of that sort of tech anyway. Opening magic and pathways between the worlds doesn't sound like something we'd be interested in.
It's a good point, and one that I made clear to Gunlock this morning, that I'm beginning to think more and more that there is a certain elegance and simplicity in the things that can be easily explained. The more I find out about the giant tech, the more I am unsure of it. It is seemingly dangerous in a lot of ways. Fantastic, yes, but unsettling in some other ways, indeed.
You know what the cloud giants say, one of their favourite sayings? Knowledge is power. And I think that's true to an extent. But I think it gives things power over you as well. That sword cuts both ways.
I think these are important words to remember in the coming days.
It's nice to see that we're not always thought of as backward, hungry savages. Hill giants get a bit of a bad rap if you ask me. I am a bit biased though.
Well, I think we have a bit of work to do in convincing the other folk that you are very much to be trusted, especially Gunlord and the nice, lovely hill giants here. I don't know what I...
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I would potentially err on caution, though, with Gunlock's brothers. I wouldn't want to... there may be some hostilities there still that may need to be ironed out before we go send the small folk there.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, I wouldn't go calling from the mountaintops that hill giants are to be trusted just yet. Our brothers are vicious brutes. The younger one, nasty piece of work.
This is unfortunate.
Till she's got them back under her thumb, I'd say it's best to tell the small folk to avoid any hill giants they come across. I'd extend that to all of the giant clans for the moment.
Good to know.
They're liable to get squashed underfoot. Giants don't often look where they're stepping, especially Cloud.
Good to know.
Well, hope I was able to provide you with a wee bit of wisdom. Now it's up to you to see if you'll follow it.
Indeed. I believe we shall. We'll take it on board.
Aye. Well, good fortune shine upon you. All of you. Gives you a nod.
Yes.
Bit of
Likewise to you. Good luck with Morla. I hope you find what you're looking for in the oceans there.
I think we'll come across what we're after. If we can fill up the 3 main tanks and 2 of the auxiliary with fresh oil, we'll be in a good position to hopefully end this without too much bloodshed. Once we can show off the power of the fort, our brothers will stand down. They've no way they've been able to secure a viable fuel source, not without Maula's help. If we can prove that we can outgun them, they'll fold. The older one, younger one, maybe not.
Excellent. Well, I hope it all goes well. I suppose I look around the party and I say, well, I guess we've got everything that we need. I guess what's next? Should we return back to Oxenfurt, perhaps? Check in with the Tempest Guild, or should we head north?
Well, I guess that's a good question to ask. I myself am journeying with you all, but I am no part of this guild that you speak of.
I'm sure Mira would take an interest in you, Threign. You've proven yourself very worthy. I suppose, going back to the original objective, it was to make contact with the Hill Giants, and I suppose we have succeeded with that. I guess all that's left to do is actually to return to await instruction by the guild. Lyra, do you agree with this?
I have sort of thought on that. I mean, I think we should definitely return to the village. We kind of left it all upturned.
Oh yeah.
And they were the hunters that were looking for the leader that sort of turned tail and ran. But I think maybe we could message Mira using the sending stones.
Does Mira have same stone in hand that you all have?
Yes, indeed.
No. She has the receiving end of the sending stone, but not one of these stones.
Oh, yes.
So no one else in your guild has same stone?
No.
Niles.
No, not Niles.
Well, there were a few others that also left. There was Nowadays and Titra. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you two, I look at our Ember and Harry. Are you also part of the guild? We haven't really spoken too much about this. We've been moving a lot.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Just for an adventure.
Yeah, I just like being part of a team.
Well, yes, Lyra and I are official members of the Tempest Guild. But I'm sure that Mira will welcome you to your ranks, welcome you into our ranks upon our return to Oxenfurt. But Lyra does raise a good point. We leave the village in a bit of an uproar. The village is still displaced, to the best of my knowledge. For now, we should potentially check in with them and see if they are in need of any assistance. Now that we have the situation here under control.
What I'm thinking is if we send Mira a message, say that, we've made contact with the Hill Giants, Gunlot and crew are friendly, there's a pending war between the clans of the Hill Giants, the village has been rebuilt, we're still looking for the leader, and we have 3 new maybe recruits, and then maybe, though I'm thinking we might need to go north. I mean, I really want to go back to Oxenfurt and sort of maybe get some new gear, but
North could be fun.
North, it might be our most pressing matter. I mean, she's like trying to sort of hide the hand, seeing if she could silence it in some way, but she's like, I'm not entirely sure that this guy can be entirely trusted. I mean, maybe this guy can, but maybe not all of him.
What's this about the hand again?
The implant on your hand.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Maybe we go back to the village, send the message to Mira and just sort of await instructions there. I'm sure the village might have some gear for us if we need upgrades.
So at a game, when we decided to do this mission for the Giants, party, team, were we giving any reward? Because I don't think I would ask for that, but did we actually talk about anything?
You were told to investigate. And then once you had made contact with the Hill Giants, you were originally then told to report back in, and further instructions would be given.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, but I mean, the Hill Giants tasking us with Waller and stopping a whole curse.
I think the reward was their recognition to discuss with our guild.
Okay, so it's just we've broken very good terms with them.
It's basically favor.
No, that's
There-
cool. I'm just,
There's
I'm
a little
just-
bit. There's a
I
little
just
bit more.
forgot.
There's a little bit more. Just
Okay,
when you get back to the
Sorry,
hill fort. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't wanna- I don't wanna
That's-
spoil
As far
anything.
as what's been discussed, that was.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm just because I was rejogging my memory, and
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I mean, Threign doesn't even really care too much about material possession, to be honest.
That's fair. Yeah. And I guess it's also important to note that like there are only 2 original Tempest Guild members. Like I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
because-
that's what I thought we should have a quick chat about because
Yeah.
there's only 2 of you from the original party.
yeah.
I'm a merchant.
Was
And
that
a
sorry?
merchant.
I'm a
Oh.
merchant.
Yeah, a merchant, very bloodthirsty merchant.
I mean, what he is also starts with the same kind of sound as merchant, but I think it moves on to
Nice.
murderer at that
Are
point.
you a murder
It's-
merchant?
it's Serial
Merchant murder?
merchant.
Merchant of death.
He deals out death. That's his merchandise.
I'm a merchant of death. Ah, you like death?
But
Harry,
things are half price. He just cuts them in half.
I slash prices and people.
Oh, I love it. I love
Half
it.
off your
Terrible.
head.
But yeah, Niles kind of looks at Lyra and goes, "Yes, that might be a little bit hard to get in the word count of the sending stone, but perhaps we could just do it over multiple sendings to Mira, so she'll get the picture. We'd probably just do that, I guess. Like while we're here, may as well send that messages to. We send those messages out to Mira.
Depending on where Mira is, I don't know. I know she sent Yervith to the town, but maybe she sent some more additional help that has just taken
Yeah, maybe.
longer because Yervith is on a giant dragon. So
Well, I mean, we don't really. That's a good point, but we wouldn't know exactly where Mira is anyway. But we would. I think it would
No.
make logical sense for us to just message her anyway.
it'd be really,
say
good,
that.
it'd be really good to get in contact.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Cool.
At this point, you are invited back onto the longship. Bravi takes you back towards the hill giant fort on the larger ship behind the flight. These are all air longships for those of you. I'm talking about for this. They are flying longships. As they head back towards the hill giant fort, successful contact made friends with Gunlot and Co. Are you working on the 25 words? Nice for sending.
I think it's 25 exactly.
I think it is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many words are you counting as Gunlot and Co? Is that deliberately to be one word?
Gunlot and go.
Saying it quickly doesn't make it less than make it less
What
words.
about the apostrophes?
I mean, technically, we could just send multiple sendings.
Could have just said
Like,
made friends with giants, going back to village to check status. I'm not telling you.
You know what? They wouldn't know who Gunlot is. They're just like, who's Gunlot? So
Yeah.
saying you
Mira-
have friends with giants, I think that's probably
No,
better.
because Mira did specifically say Gunlot at the
Oh,
very
she did.
first,
So you
That's
have
a good
given
point.
context. Okay, cool.
So I'm giving
All
context
good.
that it's like that clan
Okay.
was sort of
Yeah,
your friends.
no,
with.
all G,
That's a
that's
good
good.
point.
Ember, Mauler does indeed agree to keep an eye out for any undersea vaults.
Ooh, that's juicy.
As the
that's
longships lead you back towards the hill giant fort, overnight, the sphere that had been in the process of disassembling the town before you were able to essentially reprogram it into reconstituting the town once again, looks to have almost finished. The buildings have this kind of patchwork appearance. The sections that had been demolished and removed, replaced with this beautiful white stone, marked not with any signs of bricks, or almost like continuous pieces of stone filling the gaps, almost like they've been painted in or printed directly into the existing buildings to finish them. The town has this bizarre appearance. From the center outwards, it looks like this wave of white has emerged from the center of the sphere, painting the buildings and moving outwards from that central point as it's all been replaced. The sphere now has mostly sunk into the ground. The town square completely rebuilt around it, but with these beautiful architectural designs, pillars and columns rising up from all sections, along with large planter beds with small seedlings sprouting out of the earth. It's beautiful. and you can see a number of people moving throughout the town exploring as the last few clockwork drones begin heading back into the sphere. That's just from afar though. The longship actually takes you back to the Hill Giant Fort. Bravi giving you all a bit of a look and saying,
Goliath will want to speak with you before you head off. She rewards those who do her a good turn. Having the friendship of Goliath is a rich reward in and of itself. Just accept what she gives you. Thank her profusely. Refuse it at first. Say no, you can't possibly. Then accept it. Just one refusal. So
to be honoured by her is reward enough, but this is a mighty fine gesture.
It's a politeness thing in our culture. Food you accept on the first attempt, gifts on the second, marriage on the third. Not that you need to worry about that.
Well, thank you for your help. Thank you for giving us transport. We all appreciate it. Thank you very much. And then I give him like a predator handshake.
Yeah.
is that the forearm grip?
Yes.
Yeah. He
quickly just do
gives you the grip
there you
back.
go.
Athletics.
18.
He's actually, I mean, you were probably expecting him to be brutally strong, but actually there's a frailness to him, and as he grips you, underneath the furs, underneath the layered leathers, this is an old, frail man. A lot weaker than you might have expected.
With that, when I go in with the power I do, and I notice that he's quite frail, I'll probably just bring it back a little bit. Not that I'm disrespecting him, but just like so it's like a really nice, really, really good clasp.
Perfect. Excellent. Alrighty. As you arrive back at the Hill Giant Fort, you are invited by Bravi up to the long hall at the very top. As you enter, Gunglot is already there, seated at her throne. Next to it stands an ornate chest covered in beautiful runes, marked of this dark banded wood, iron banding around it, with what looks to be almost like a silver filigree embossed into these runic symbols around the bands. Much as she was the first time you walked in, Gunglot doesn't sit on her throne, she sprawls across it. One leg up on the arm piece, hand around the back, leaning back, holding a large flagon that she sips. As you enter, she gives you a nod, a smile, and then looks down at the floor in front of her. Bravi strides forward, gesturing for you to follow. As you approach, Bravi kneels at her throne, and then steps up and stands beside her.
I'll do what he does, but then obviously take my place with the party, not beside him.
Lyra takes a kneel immediately.
Yeah.
Likewise.
As like all of you kneel. As all of you kneel, you watch her smile again. Some of the Drengir behind give a bit of a chuckle. Certainly learnt your manners. Well, I certainly know mine. Those who do us a good turn are richly rewarded, as you shall be. Was thinking to myself last night after our... Sorry, I've got the voice. I'm doing Bravi's voice, but female. Let me get the giant attack. As I was thinking last night, reflecting on how I could reward you for such a powerful gift in this fight with my brothers. And I realized that we have some things which I think will aid you on your journey. Old items. This chest contains a number of things. I want you to take them all. They are all for you. Will you accept my gift?
I look at everyone and just
massive grin is above Harry's face.
No, surely we could not accept this gift.
Your friendship is the reason why we decided to help you. I mean, we didn't do this out of any expectation of reward in return.
She
Seeing
smiles
Harry's massive
and
grin,
briny.
by the way,
Oh yeah.
I start sort of moving my way in front of him to obscure him. Because
Probably a good call.
I'm all about giants and respecting the giants, so I 100% see his rictus grin on his face looking at the loot, and I just remember like the words echoing through my head.
Yeah.
Refuse first. So
Harry then shuffles into Threign's blind spot.
Oh, God. Holy shit!
Right.
This is not a good sign.
Niles just says again, like, it is as I said this morning. Your honor is enough. The friendship that we have made is more than enough.
She smiles and looks over to Bravi, who winks. She nods and goes, "Please, you must accept my gift. It is important that we honor and reward those who do me a good turn. Otherwise, what incentive is there for those to stand by me when I need them? I honor my friends and bring fear to my enemies. You are my friends. Please, you must accept these gifts as thank you for the services you have shown both me and my people. Will you accept these gifts?"
We will accept these gifts with extreme honor and our thanks, and know that we're here to stand by you. I mean, like you were saying, if the time comes and you're looking for allies in a fight, you know how to call on.
Indeed.
There's a moment of silence, and then behind you hear one of the Drengir whisper,
Oh my god, they accepted. They're so fucked right now.
and then there's a cheer from the other Drengir as Gunglot smiles and nods, and you turn to see a very cheeky smile across one of the warriors, the one who'd given Threign the meal the first night, gives you a wink, Threign, a big cheeky smile, as he deliberately leaned forward to be like, "Oh my god, they're fucked."
I am genuinely confused.
He very gently gives you a bump on the arm.
Do not try to overthink it, little brother. I was just yanking on your chain.
This is funny joke. Yes.
For me, yes. For you, egg on face, I think they say, huh?
That's
the
his
second
fault of the term,
Oki,
yes.
sorry, go on.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, the second Oki said yes.
Oki?
Harry
Are we
stepped
playing
up
Avatar, are we?
She's returned!
Oh, Oki, how you doing?
That's
The second
fantastic.
Lyra says yes.
On Tuesday nights we play Avatar Legends, and Dave is now calling Ali by her character name from the Avatar Legends campaign. A waterbender from the Northern Water Tribe.
Hero extraordinaire.
All right, Dave.
The second Lyra said yes. Harry steps up from behind the chest, revealing he was there, trying to move the chest the whole time.
There's this like freeze as Harry looks around. Feet start sort of thumping a little bit of
His
excitement.
ears actually appear from behind the chest.
Slowly rise up from underneath. Amazing. Because we are reaching the 2-hour limit, as you guys head on over and throw open the chest, there are a number of items in there, along with a bag of giant gold, 400 pieces of gold to be precise, which I will type in chat. 400 GP.
You guys can split that up between you because Threign has no interest in the gold.
Cool. Before you go too much further jumping things in, Bravi steps over to explain the items that are in there. There is a large bag sewn together out of what looks to be furs and leathers. It's enormous, but as Bravi picks it up and looks down at you guys, goes,
This is a bag we use to store items when we're traveling far away. It'll shrink, fit you. Whenever you tie it to your belt, it'll assume a correct size. I was the last one who wore this. This is from me personally. Who would be the best person to carry this? It'll make items weigh nothing. You can fill it with many, many things.
I mean, I feel like this is probably not a great idea, but the merchant makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
seeing his enthusiasm with the loot it's questionable decision, but the merchant makes a lot of sense. Or Niles potentially too.
I mean, I already have a
Harry
bag of
raises his
holding.
pool.
I already have the bag of holding, so I'm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can carry this. On behalf of everyone, of course.
Yeah, perfect.
No, I don't mind at all, by all means.
As soon as this bag is as big as you, Harry, but as soon as you tie the straps to your belt, the bag shrinks down.
Yeah, I mentioned the bag's put down next to Harry, and Harry's just standing there, and it's like as big as him, and he's just trying to tie the strap to his belt, but it's like too big for him.
Yeah. Gunglot sort of gestures to 2 potions wrapped in a potion bag next to it. As you pull open and look inside the potion, you can see that it is this transparent liquid with this emerald green shimmer moving up and down through it. Hill giants are known for their strength and constitution. These potions will grant you a semblance of our power if you were to drink them. The strength and constitution of a hill giant. There are 2 of them. Drinking it will last for 1 hour. Use them sparingly.
Harry's already drank them.
Already drunk them.
Harry is so much more swollen now. He's been going to the gym.
2 potions of hill giant strength. Hello?
Hot take here. I'm not going to take it because Threign believes in his own might and not what is gifted to him.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm actually realizing that Threign doesn't really.
Chat will carry
much
it. Loot. Chat's already chiming in. They'll take it. Don't worry, mate. Nice try, chat. Next up is what looks to be a gemstone. This yellow diamond mounted onto a almost what looks like a dark obsidian stone housing, a casing with these wires of silver holding the stone in place. This is an item that I never found an opportunity to use. There are 2 that my father passed down to me. 1 I am saving to use in the fight against my brothers. But this I give to you. Long ago, a mage, a hill giant mage, trapped an earth elemental inside this gemstone. If you were to break it, elemental will be summoned.
Whoa.
It will obey the commands of the person who last touched the gemstone. Please use this to protect yourselves and keep yourselves safe when you are in mortal danger. As you are given an elemental gem with a earth elemental in it. Elemental gem, I put in brackets, earth elemental.
Sorry, Owen, you're dropping out for a second.
Am I back now?
There you go. You're good. Yep.
It's an elemental gem, and it contains an earth elemental. I'm going to type all these in the Roll20 chat, so you've got a record of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
And for the last magic item, I'm going to get each of you to roll me a d10, and I'm going to add them all together, and that is going to be the final magic item. So each of you just rolls a d10.
Also, everyone, Harry is finding the biggest carrot he can find in the entire hole and trying to stuff it in the bag.
Yeah.
Fair. So, we've got a 10, a 9, we've got a 7 and a 4, and then another 4. Let me just run that math really quickly. 11, 21, 30, 34. I think if my brief math is correct. Let's have a look at the final item.
That's right to me.
Yeah, the final item. Okay. I guess this kind of makes sense in a way. Yeah, I guess this kind of does make sense that they might have this. A potion, another potion wrapped inside of another potion bag, sits at the bottom of the chest. Gunglot kind of smiles a little bit as she pulls it open. This is an interesting one. Long ago, when we would sometimes meet and talk to the dwarves or the elves, when they were first arriving and we were talking with them, we would sometimes take on a smaller form to meet with them. This potion of diminution allows you to shrink yourself down to a small size. For us, it would make us as large as you are, but if you were to drink it, it would make you very small indeed. That's kind of hilarious. It's a potion of diminution.
Actually.
That's cool.
Hilarious.
So funny.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's why when I was looking at it, I was like, that's kind of ideal from Magic Item Table C in the Dungeon Master's Guide, if you're wondering where that came from. Yeah, that's hilarious. 33 to 37 would have got you that. Can it be used as a weapon oil? Oh, that's a good question. Let me have a quick look. I think when you drink this potion, it does specifically say drink. I am sorry to say.
It does.
Shoot it through their throats.
Alrighty. With that, for the purposes of expediency, Gunglot thanks you all, and you are cheered on by the Drengir, the hill giant warriors who line the halls of this vast mead hall as you begin heading back down. As you walk down the long pathway leading out of the hill giant fort and begin making your way back towards town, you see your cart still sitting outside the front of the town gates, unattended. As you approach, however, you hear a beeping noise coming from inside. Boop, 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 boop. Just repeating.
Inside the cart?
Inside the cart. And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for Return of the Giants. I absolutely fucking love running this campaign. It makes me so happy inside to run a completely homebrew campaign. This and Avatar Legends. I really love doing a homebrew campaign. I am obviously enjoying our Curse of Strahd campaign as well because I love the horror element of it. But there is something really fun about having a written campaign with all this stuff behind the scenes and watching you guys just jump into this sandbox world and do the craziest things I can never anticipate. So yes, thank you so much everybody for joining us. If you're watching us live on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're going to go raid another channel, send some love to another one of our streaming community. If you're watching us recorded on YouTube or on the podcast, hit the like or subscribe or follow or whatever, like a rating thing, whatever it's got equivalent, because we are so close to hitting that 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're like 90% of the way there now as of tonight, so it's so close. But huge thank you to everybody who's joining us. For those of you who are new in chat tonight, it's lovely to see your faces. Can't wait to see you guys again. We've got a Discord if you want to jump in. We talk about all sorts of crazy stuff and share tales from RPGs, so stick around. But that's all of us. That's all of it from here. All of us tonight. Wow, I could not have got that sentence more wrong. That's all from us here tonight. 3 back-to-back sessions in a row does things to my brain. We cannot wait to see you all again next week. Until next time, though, stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again really soon. Until then, though, everybody, goodbye. Farewell!
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for the subscription.